I'm talking to you now. Tell me about your gun, the weapon that you're hunting with there behind you. What is that?
It's an AR-15.
AR-15. Jan, jy ken hierdie kaliber seker, né?
Die AR-15 is gewoonlik 'n Colt afgeleide. Ja, ek het al van hulle gesien. Dis gewoonlik semi-outomaties. En dan Colt maak ook volautomatiese AR-15's, ja.
Ja, hier is 'n semi-outomaties en hy het 'n vortex teleskoop op. Ja, okay. I also want to move over to David. This is a 223. Yes.
Or
223, right.
What is that?
It's a 223 or 556.
Okay. All right. I want to move over to David because yesterday we were hunting and David hunted. Let me just explain. He hunted just across that ridge, and I want him to just take you through the hunt because he was successful. David, tell me about the hunt. Yes, go ahead.
So yesterday was the last day of archery only season here. Today's the first day of gun season. And here, archery, crossbows fall under the rubric of archery, which is nice. But we have a climbing stand set up over there, which I think you said, Donnie, y'all don't use much.
No, no, not at all.
So a climbing stand, it was a lone wolf climbing stand. The design is you can pack it in and out and wrap it around the tree and climb up to the height and hunt and then climb back down. We set it up more or less semi-permanently, but it's a one-man stand, and I was over there. A nice 6-pointer came out about this time of day yesterday, and it came. I first saw it. It was probably about 80 to 100 yards away, which is about the same in meters, I think. 80 to 100 meters. And I thought it was probably going to continue away, and that's a little far for this. I'm hunting with a Raven R26. It's a crossbow. It shoots 400 feet per second, which I think is like 130 meters per second. I don't know how y'all do it, but 400 feet per second, which is very fast for a bow, and has a range of about 100 yards. So.
And the scope that you have on there?
Yeah, so the scope is actually made by Raven as well, or at least packaged with the Raven crossbow. It's a lit reticle scope, and it has marks at every 10 yards, or it can actually be set up for every 10 meters as well. So obviously they fall away. And also have a rangefinder, just a little Vortex digital rangefinder that I was using. So I had spent some time ranging beforehand, and then when the deer came up, I got very excited and kind of forgot to go for the rangefinder again, and so just shot by guessing, and I was a little high. Thankfully, the arrows, the design on these crossbow arrows are such that they helped my bad judgment on the distance, because what happens with these is this is the actual arrow I used, and so it's a little dirty, but when the arrow impacts, so it flies like this, and when it impacts, it pushes these apart, and they open up very wide, kind of like that. And of course, it's all spinning quite quickly, and so it makes a very large hole in the animal. I've shot a couple of deer this year, and both times the wound has been very large, like almost the size of a tennis ball. So my aim was high because I didn't range, but thankfully this opened up wide enough that it caught enough of the lung, and the buck ran 20 or 30 yards and then laid down. So that's about it.
Tell me, David, so you handed it into the butchery, and what do you make with your deer?
So he provides a lot of options. Our favorite right now is everyone gets the tender. We call it tenderloin. It's the backstrap. I don't know. I think most people call it backstrap, but tenderloin is our favorite, like everybody's, I think. And then the rest we usually get ground up to sausage. And the butcher mixes spices with it. He can make it hot, he can make it mild. He will also mix in fat if you want. We don't get it with the fat, and it's still really good. So, and y'all had some too, you know?
Yes. No, I can testify to that. David gave me some, and yeah, so you make it almost like into a hamburger, and it's spicy and very nice. Okay, David, thank you so much. The last thing though, South African hunters are spoiled with shooting sticks and so on. Tell me about that stand and the ability to take the rest on something.
So the stand is very small, as you might imagine, so it can be light and easy to pack in and out of long distances. So it doesn't have a lot of extras or bells and whistles. It does have a safety bar, but the safety bar sits too low. And when I shot the doe, I mean the deer, the buck, I was standing. So because it has a seat that kind of flips up. So I immediately stood up, which means, especially with the crossbow, you have nothing to prop against. I mean, the tree was to my back anyway, but even if it would have been, you could never prop against it with a crossbow because these arms pop out, so it would tear the crossbow up. But anyway, so yeah, you just had to free shoot it. It wasn't bad because it was only probably 50 or 60 yards. So
okay, great, excellent experience there. Thank you, David.
Yeah.